John was a dreamer, always thinking about his future full of possibilities. He dedicated his time and effort to his work, a small startup he believed in, hoping it would one day change the world. Bella, his girlfriend, longed for a life of luxury, always chasing extravagant experiences, luxury brands, exotic vacations, a world of comfort she yearned for and strived to make her own. John, deeply in love, promised to build that world for her, no matter the cost. However, their worlds were different, like two parallel lines that never meet. John found happiness in simple pleasures, a shared laugh, a walk in the park, the quiet satisfaction after a hard day's work, moments that made life meaningful. Bella, on the other hand, saw happiness in the sparkle of diamonds, the roar of a sports car engine, and the envy in her friend's eyes, a life of extravagance. John's love for Bella was a steady flame, warming their days with tenderness and quiet devotion, a love that sought to care and protect. Bella's love, however, was as fickle as a candle in the wind, fueled by passion and the allure of wealth, a love as fleeting as it was intense. Their paths crossed, two souls on different journeys, their hearts beating to different rhythms yet intertwined by fate. Could their love bridge the gap between their desires, or would it crumble under the weight of their differences? Or was their story destined to be a tale of sadness and regret, a painful reminder of unfulfilled dreams and lost love? Bella's eyes sparkled with a desire John struggled to understand. It was a yearning that seemed to grow stronger with each passing day, a longing that was almost palpable. It wasn't the glimmer of shared dreams or whispered promises. It was something deeper, more material, and more elusive. It was the gleam of gold, the allure of a life enveloped in luxury. The kind of life that seemed just a step away, always just a step away. She craved a world that John's modest means couldn't provide. A world filled with luxury and grandeur. She spoke of high-end fashion boutiques and luxurious hotels, places where elegance was the norm and extravagance was expected. Her words were laced with longing and a subtle accusation, as if blaming John for the life they didn't have. John, his hands calloused from long hours building his dream, felt a familiar ache in his chest. It was a deep ache, a mixture of frustration and helplessness. It was the sting of inadequacy, the fear that his love wouldn't be enough. The fear that no matter how hard he worked, it would never be enough. One evening, Bella pointed to a dazzling necklace in a magazine, its sparkle almost painful. Its diamonds mocked John's meager savings, a harsh reminder of their financial reality. "Imagine owning this," she whispered, her voice thick with longing. Her eyes shone with a dream that seemed so far away. John, his heart heavy, promised to buy it for her someday. A promise made with the best intentions, but burdened by the harshness of their reality. Bella's smile was fleeting, a flicker of light extinguished by the harsh truth of their situation. It was a smile that held hope, but also resignation. "Someday," she echoed, her voice laced with doubt. "But when?" The question lingered, heavy and unspoken. The question hung heavy in the air, a stark reminder of the chasm that separated their worlds. A chasm that seemed to widen with each passing day. The chasm between John and Bella wasn't just about money. It was about values, about what truly mattered. John valued hard work, integrity, and the quiet satisfaction of building something meaningful. Bella, however, was captivated by the allure of instant gratification, the intoxicating power of wealth. One evening, John suggested dinner at a cozy Italian restaurant. Bella scoffed, her voice dripping with disdain. "This isn't my scene, John. Let's go somewhere exclusive, somewhere that speaks of success." John reluctantly agreed, feeling the now familiar sting of rejection. They ended up at a trendy sushi restaurant, where the air was thick with the scent of expensive perfumes and unspoken expectations. As John struggled to decipher the menu, Bella rattled off orders, her eyes scanning the room, searching for familiar faces, for validation. John watched her, a growing unease settling in his stomach. He realized he was merely a spectator in Bella's life, an accessory to her pursuit of status and luxury. After a year of dating, John decided to take the plunge. He had saved for months, sacrificing meals and sleep to buy Bella a ring. The ring wasn't a diamond-encrusted masterpiece as she desired, but it was a symbol of his love, a promise of a future built on shared dreams and unwavering devotion. He knelt down, his heart pounding, and presented her with the ring. Bella's face fell, her eyes widening in disbelief. "John," Bella whispered, her voice a mixture of pity and disappointment. "This isn't what I expected." John's heart shattered into a million pieces. He felt the weight of the ring in his hand, a symbol of his naive hope, his unwavering belief that love could conquer all. Bella, her eyes welling with tears, explained that she couldn't live a modest life, a life of saving and budgeting. She yearned for a life of luxury, a life John couldn't provide. The weeks that followed were a blur of sadness, pain, and self-doubt. John immersed himself in his work, finding solace in the rhythm of coding and the familiar comfort of brainstorming. Bella, on the other hand, moved on, her Instagram feed filled with pictures of her new life. Exotic vacations, shopping sprees for designer clothes, and a handsome, wealthy man by her side. John knew he had to move on as well. He poured his energy into his startup, his heartbreak fueling his ambition. He found a new apartment, smaller and less luxurious than the one he shared with Bella, but it was his. It was a fresh start, a chance to rebuild his life, to redefine what success meant to him. One evening, as John walked home from the office, he noticed a small bookstore tucked away on a quiet street. He stepped inside, enveloped by the scent of old paper and new beginnings. He struck up a conversation with the bookstore owner, a kind woman with twinkling eyes and a warm smile. Her name was Rose. Years passed quickly. John's startup flourished, driven by his dedication and innovative ideas, becoming a successful tech company. He was a living example that success isn't measured by the size of your bank account, but by the depth of your passion and your impact on the world. On a rainy afternoon, as John hailed a cab outside his office building, he spotted a familiar figure across the street. It was Bella. She looked different. The youthful sparkle replaced by a weariness that spoke of broken promises and the emptiness of a life built on materialism. John watched as Bella climbed into a sleek sports car, driven by a man who looked remarkably like the man from her Instagram photos, but older, his features etched with the same weariness that clouded Bella's. As the car pulled away, John felt a pang of sympathy, a bittersweet understanding that material possessions couldn't mend a broken heart or fill the void of genuine connection. John hailed another cab, his mind racing. His thoughts returned to Bella. He couldn't deny a certain satisfaction knowing his hard work had brought him the success Bella had always craved. However, a deeper realization was dawning on him. But more importantly, it had brought him something far more valuable: contentment, self-respect, and the unwavering love of a good woman. These were treasures no amount of money could buy. He thought of Rose, her warmth and kindness, her ability to make even the darkest days seem bright. Their shared love of books and meaningful conversations had created an unbreakable bond. She was his confidant, his rock, his partner in every sense of the word. Together, they faced life's challenges with grace and strength. They were building a life together, a life based on shared values, mutual respect, and a deep understanding of each other's dreams and aspirations. And the simple joy of being together quietly, finding happiness in the small moments that made up their days. As the cab pulled away, John glanced back at the spot where he had seen Bella. The memories of their past seemed distant now. The rain had stopped, and a faint rainbow appeared in the sky, a symbol of hope and new beginnings. He smiled, a genuine smile that reached his eyes, reflecting the peace he felt inside. He had learned the hard way that true value doesn't lie in the things you own, but in the richness of your experiences and the people you cherish. The richness of your experiences, the strength of your character, and the depth of your love are the true measures of a fulfilling life. And the depth of your love, these are the true treasures, ones that transcend material wealth. And that was a wealth Bella might never find, despite all her designer labels and expensive possessions. John had found his true wealth in the love and simplicity of his life with Rose.